Hello, my name is Richard Watts. In this presentation I'm talking about Grant for Business Investment, which is known as GBI grant. GBI grant, what is it? It's the major government grant available in England. It's administered by the country's development agencies and it replaced the SFI grant in October 2008. GBI is a discretionary grant and most manufacturing businesses are eligible to apply, as are businesses in service industries that supply a national rather than local market. Applicants can be all sizes of companies, partnerships or sole traders. However, the grant is not available simply to transfer jobs from one part of the country to another. GBI support. Well, it's assistance that can be provided to establish a new business, expand, modernise or rationalise an existing business, set up research and development facilities, or enable a business to take the next step from development to production. How much is the grant? Well, the minimum grant is £10,000. The grant is based on a percentage of the project costs. The percentage depends on the type of business and the area in which it is located. Rates are between 10% and 35%. Job creation is an important factor. The grant will normally be restricted to the number of jobs created times a rate for that job. For a skilled job it's normally £5,000. So for example, for a grant of £10,000 you'd need to create 2 jobs, £5,000 for 2 jobs. Job safeguarding can sometimes be taken into account. Looking at assisted areas, which are important for the type and the rate of grant available. In the northeast, assisted areas are all of the Tees Valley and going most of the way north down the eastern side to Sunderland. In Yorkshire, assisted areas are Humberside and North Lincolnshire. Also parts of West Yorkshire and most of South Yorkshire. Which businesses are excluded from applying the grant? Well, the EC restricts aid to certain sectors. Those include the steel industry, coal, synthetic fibres, primary agriculture, fisheries and shipping. Also excluded are areas of the UK which are fully served and which support would lead to overcapacity and the result of that displacement of jobs. Also excluded will be projects which offer purely local consumer service such as retail and restaurants. So to be able to get to the grant, you must be able to answer yes to the following questions, and this is taken directly from the grant application form. Will it take place in an assisted area? If the project will not take place in an assisted area, is it an SME? Is it aimed at more than the local market? Is there forecast growth in the market sector to ensure that the grant will not have an adverse effect on competitors? If the application is for 100,000 or more, will jobs be directly created or safeguarded in the business? Will the business as a whole be financially viable and profitable within 3 years? If the project is undertaken by a member of a group, is that group financially stable? Will most of the funding come from internal or external private sector resources? And very importantly, is GBI essential to enable the project to proceed? If you can answer yes to all those questions, then you can proceed with the application. Pointers to consider regarding the grant. When assessing whether to award a grant, the RDL will consider increase in productivity. That's by increased gross value added per employee. And it depends on the type of sector what that increase would be, typically 3 to 5% over a 3-year period. Jobs must be created and or safeguarded. The business should be capable of trading on a national level or even better internationally. The project should be innovative. You've got to be doing something a bit different to the rest of the competition. The grant has to be important to enable the project to go ahead, and the grant's there to cover risk. So for example, delays in the project, orders being lower than expected, you might have had to borrow money to do the project, there's a risk to that. Sensitivity analysis is important. It has to be demonstrated that the project is fully funded. The grant is not there as gap funding, it is there to cover risk. Displacement is considered in all applications. A grant will not be awarded when it just moves jobs to a business at the expense of another. For example, the food industry. There's a limit to how much people can eat, therefore a new type of food comes in at the expense of an existing brand. Also important to look to see if there's growth in the market. Very important to demonstrate market growth, and that with your project you're just filling a need in the marketplace. Other factors considered when determining whether a grant will be awarded are intellectual property. Are you developing any IP? What sort of research and development do you carry out? Future training of the workforce, what the benefit is to the region, and becoming more and more important, environmental considerations. So examples of some successful projects. A manufacturing business expanding into a market with spare capacity by acquiring a state-of-the-art CNC technology machine, received grant assistance towards this. Grant assistance was given towards a management buyout of a niche market manufacturer, and they were manufacturing goods that otherwise would have been imported. Assistance was awarded to an engineering company who were investing in premises and equipment, allowing them to create 50 jobs and improve productivity. A foreign-owned company received support to safeguard its operations in the UK at the expense of a move to China. Over 250 jobs were safeguarded. A company that had developed new technology was awarded assistance to enable it to manufacture the product it had developed. Service at Finance for Business, how can we help? Well, we'll assess the project for grant suitability. There's nothing worse than spending a lot of time on an application to find that it's not suitable for the grant. We'll discuss the project with the appropriate grant awarding body before the application goes ahead, so that they're aware of it. We prepare the application forms and supplementary information. That includes the business plan and the financial forecasts that are needed for the grant. We'll carry out calculations to ascertain that the GBI the project creates compares favourably with RDA targets. We'll submit applications to the grant awarding body and attend meetings with that body regarding the project as and when required. We have regular discussions with the grant awarding bodies, so we know what they're looking for in an application. Contact details: if you'd like to discuss any potential project or you need any more information, please contact myself, Richard Watts, on 07872 033 804.